So, um, just basically on what you guys saw this week, what topics were like surprising? What was like, what seemed new and what seemed kind of familiar?
I can go first if you guys want. So, for me, I guess what stood out for me was how much culture impacts strategic execution. I haven't really thought about how daily behaviors either support or weaken the bigger vision. What felt familiar was the difference between managing and leading. So for me, I work in construction and I see that a lot that a lot of times construction workers, they manage tasks well, but leadership requires stepping back and seeing the bigger position and the long-term direction. So, and if you think about it, leaders are kind of the project managers and they're the ones that manage the master schedule and like the long-term lead items, whereas someone that's in the field that maybe isn't as big of a leader, they focus on the smaller, just get tasks done as they come to their responsibility.
I think adding to what Kash just said, um, when I look at the inner workings of my job, I'm kind of at a lower level, entry level position in a law firm, just trying to see like that process of like how the law firm is structured. And it's hard when you have like all these higher level people that are operating at such high ended things where you guys have heard like of CEO blindness. Have
Mhm.
you? Yeah. It just made me think of that, where there's so many inner working parts and you truly don't know what's going on. But like the collaborative nature of it, I don't know, it's kind of interesting and nice to see it all come together, but perspective for sure adds on top of that.
Right. Great insight.
I actually worked construction to put myself through my undergrad. So that's kind of fun. I think the thing that was like most interesting, like I've heard about like the nature versus nurture arguments for the most part, like talents versus mindset. But it was interesting to see how much of this was like the it was like inconclusive in a lot of ways. It was like, well, you can get to where you want to be both ways, but having talent and good mindset in a particular area could help you be world class. At least that's kind of what I saw. It was almost like took something familiar, but took it to the next level. I almost want them to elaborate further because it almost seems like when I was watching the lecture videos, it was like yes, but no. And so I'm left a little bit confused in some ways there.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I kind of felt that the growth mindset is better positioned than the talent itself. That's the way I inferred from these lectures. Because the growth mindset, you have much more long-term effect. You can achieve long-term success. Uh, Not that you can do the same with just talent alone, but talent itself has to be kind of nurtured and cultivated, and you shouldn't just you could be exceptionally talented, but you cannot just stop where you achieve success very quickly, and then you have a tendency to just uh, get into a mindset that nobody can beat you. So that's where I felt like, okay, talent. If you want to be successful throughout, then you have to nurture that talent. Have a strategy to keep going further. Um, in that case, I think it can match the growth mindset. But absolutely, growth mindset and talent together. I don't know whether I don't know whether everybody has that quality, but that's the best quality, I guess, to achieve success in the long term.
Right. In the chat of our lecture that we met together last week, I said the quote, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard enough. So it's kind of applicable to what you said.
Exactly.
All right. What's the one other question we want to answer here, Luker?
All right, let's take a look. Based on what we've learned this week, what will we do with it?
I can start again. So I took a note here. I said, moving forward, I want to communicate the why behind decisions more clearly and be more intentional about stepping back and thinking strategically instead of just reacting. So I guess having a greater understanding and realizing the real reason I'm doing something is going to help me be a better leader and to help align performance with people around me rather than just reacting, in the moment, which I think is also good. There's probably a good balance, but just thinking more importantly why I'm doing something.
I think that that's good insight because like if we don't know if we're like hitting our targets, then how can we be good leaders and good to our people? I think I almost want to like make like a strengths document, like something I can like post somewhere just to remind myself like what things I should potentially be trying to strengthen, what things I might need to mitigate that are getting in the way of my success, and then just like how can I be, how can I leverage those talents in in job descriptions that don't necessarily fit those talents perfectly? Because I don't think any of the jobs that we go into will be a 100% perfect fit, um, custom built for us.
Yeah, that's great.
The one thing I kind of learned about from these lectures this time was about the personal ownership. I always felt like personal ownership meant delivering exceptional and high quality work. So basically, at my workplace, I just focused on the work itself. Basically, which means working on small aspects of the work, making sure the big picture looks good. But in that process, it's so time consuming that you really don't interact much with your team members, and you're not really giving them or sharing with them the experience you gain with all these little projects. So I think that's one thing which I learned, and I hope to kind of adopt in the
Hmm.
future, adopt that quality. Try to spend more time with my colleagues. Try to kind of share the experience. So basically, it looks like I'll have to work harder and maybe faster. But that's one thing which I learned, which I hope to apply in my workplace.
All right, Chloe, you get to wrap it up.
I don't know how to follow up behind you guys. You guys all have really good points. I think there's like two small things for me. One being growing up, I just remember my mom telling me that like talent's a seed. You have to grow, cultivate, let it like water it, make sure that it's not gonna die, right? And I think that's one good thing to like keep in mind, especially having talent brought up and where we've had to like put our nose back into these articles. I think it's a really good reminder that we all have our own strengths and weaknesses. And then the second thing being um, focusing on what you're good at. The quiz question that we have kind of correlated to that from tonight's quiz. But I just personally, I think I am really hard on myself when I'm not like up to my own personal standards. So I think taking a step back and like really just honing in on what I'm good at and realizing what I'm not good at, someone else might be able to pick up the slack for because like Luker was saying with the not having 100% fit, it's I mean everything can be a give and take. You can be giving 70 and I might have a partner on my team that's giving the 30 to push us over the edge. So, that's what I've got for you guys.
Perfect. I am going to stop this recording right now.